So good morning, ladies and gents. We are going to be looking at the reading lesson, which is identify implicit, inferred meanings in texts. Now, I'd actually just like to go through what implicit and inferred are, just in case you're not familiar with them. Now, there are three terms you're going to actually be hearing today. So it's going to be implicit, inferred, and explicit. Now, implicit means, as you go along, you'll learn this a little bit better as well, but implicit means something that has been suggested in a text. Is something that has not actually just been clearly said, it's something that is hinted at. Inferred means to deduce something from evidence. In other words, it means to get an idea based on the evidence around you. So you might be reading a statement, you might read some information, and it's just you getting an idea of, oh, so they're saying this, but this is what they mean instead. And then explicit means it's something that is just said very clearly. They've stated it, they've said it very clearly. Like, I am going to the shops today. That's explicit. They've just stated it very clearly. So an example of explicit is when they just say it clearly. An implicit example is, so for example, you might have your child walk into the room and they might drop their dirty socks on the floor and you give them a dirty look. So I put this down, when you give your child a dirty look when they drop dirty socks on the floor, and you just give them a look, don't you? So they understand that you're inferring, if you don't pick those socks up right now, you're going to be in big trouble just by that look. So that was what inferred means. You don't have to say that sentence, but your look is saying that. And then an example of, an example of inferred is, so you might give your child a new piece of fruit to try. They might not have tried it before. So when they try a new piece of fruit and they make a disgusted face like, ugh, they don't make any noises, but they just make a face like they don't like it. This will show the mother that they don't like that food. They don't like the taste of that. So that's what inferred means. So let's make a start after all my talking. So the aims and outcomes of today's session are, you're going to understand what facts are, you're going to understand what opinions are, and you're going to be able to define what bias is. So you should already be able to distinguish facts from opinions, and you should be able to recognize bias in a text. So bias is when you're looking at information and you've got an idea about something, but you think my way is the right way. You don't want to listen to anybody else. I know this, it's me, I know, I'm right, you're wrong, and you're not considering listening to anybody else at all. That's what bias is. And then you could also infer meanings in text and recognize euphemisms and irony. So what does this statement mean? So I need you over here. His job was to pack toys into boxes. And then he packs toys into boxes. And so the meaning is explicit, clear, and obvious. So when we're doing, the first section is his job was to pack toys into boxes. That's it's explicit meaning. You're telling us that this guy's job is to put toys into boxes. That's what he works as. The second one is a question where it says, he packs toys into boxes, just questioning it. So we know that this statement here is implicit, is clear, and it's obvious. So what does this line from Peter Pan mean? Her romantic mind was like tiny boxes, one within the other. So does it mean her brain was made of small boxes? I said, no, we've already got an answer here. No, her brain was not made of tiny boxes. What it actually means is her mind was complex and full of different thoughts, and that she's got lots of ideas going on all at once. So she's got little compartments. So that's what it means. Now, the problem is this one is implicit, it's unclear, and it's hidden. So if you weren't 200% sure, you'd think, yeah, her mind was like tiny boxes. Is a mind made of little small boxes? You might think that. But no, we're actually inferring the meaning here. We're trying to find out we're trying to see what it means. So we're looking at implicit meaning here. So it's suggested that her mind is complex and she's got lots of different thoughts. So sometimes we've got to read between the lines, and this is called inference. Now, it's important that the reader infers the meaning and the writer implies the meaning. So somebody puts down, the writer is writing something, and they're putting down a whole lot of information, and they're not clearly telling you what they're talking about. They're not clearly just pointing out and writing it down. They want you to read between the lines. So that's you inferring, that's you suggesting that, oh, so this is what it means. So in a functional skills assessment, you may be asked, what is implied by the following quote, or what can you infer from this quote? So they'll give you a quote and they'll ask you, what do you think its meaning is? What are they trying to say? So they've not said it clearly, but what do you think they're trying to say? So don't ever get worried if you see the words implied or infer. It just means, tell me, what do you think this text is trying to say? So we're going to watch this video. So I know we've been having issues where you can't hear the audio, but please either look back at this recording later or go back in your own time and watch these videos. But they've got text on them, so you should be okay. Sorry, it's just loading. It shouldn't be too long. So I'm just going to try and just give you one moment, please. Right, let's see if we can get this working now. Okay, I don't think we'll be able to get that working. So please, if you get a moment, just go into that video and have a listen to it. It's fantastic. It gives you a nice bit of information on fact, opinion, and implicit and inferred meaning. So can you all still hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So what do these things mean? Now, I know we've not been able to do the video properly, but it's got information here. So facts, we've already got this drawn up here. So it saves us a bit of effort. So facts are records or things that can be proved to be true. An opinion is a view or a feelings that can't be proven to be true. So it's your own opinions or the writer's opinions. Bias is an inclination to one point with a refusal to consider others, where you think, I know what I'm talking about is right, I'm not going to listen to anyone else, I'm true, everybody's wrong. And then finally, what colour we not? Let's go red. Implicit is what is implied or hinted at, but it's not what is directly said. So it's implied, it's hinted at, but they don't actually say it. Let's go to the next. There you go. So fact or opinion, let's do this together now. So please unmute yourself. It's okay if you've got a noisy background. Find a nice colour, green. So what is this one here? The bacon is too salty. Is that a fact or an opinion?
Opinion.
I actually agree with you. Yes, it's an opinion. So the bacon is made with salt. Is that fact or opinion? I would say fact because bacon is made, made with salt. Stockholm is the capital of Sweden. Is that a fact or opinion?
That's the fact.
Brilliant. And then Stockholm is a fantastic city to visit.
That's an opinion.
Yep. And then the company was established in 1975.
That's the fact.
Yep, because it's a nice little, it's just telling you exactly when it was established. And then the company makes top-class products.
That's an opinion.
Yeah, an opinion. So it does make it easier where you've got the answers on the side, but it's nice to go through each one just to see what sort of, because when someone says Stockholm is a fantastic city to visit, so that's their opinion. You might think Turkey is a fantastic city, or London is a fantastic city. So it really, like Turkey is a country, what am I talking about? There you go. Istanbul, there you go.
Istanbul.
So how to distinguish fact from opinion? So you're going to look at the text and you're going to see what fact is and what opinion is. So distinguish is just to find the difference, find out what fact is and what opinions is. So let's read this. Toffees, crisps and sugary drinks should be in a non-colourful packaging to stop children mithering their mums and dads, health campaigners say. So it would make the items much less tempting and it's necessary to fight obesity and crisis. So this first section, let's do sentence by sentence. So toffee, crisps and sugary drinks should be in a non-colourful way. Do you think this is a fact or an opinion?
That's an opinion?
Yeah, I think it's an opinion too, yes. Because it's health campaigns are saying if they're not colourful, if they're not in, the children are not going to mither their mums and dads. So not every child will mither their mum or bother their mum and dad, say, Mom, buy me this. Some parents will be happy to do it. So even that word mithering is an opinion itself. So even though these information might be correct, the word mithering is what they put in as an opinion because not every child mithers their mum and dad. So it would make the items much less tempting and it is necessary to fight the obesity crisis, they insist. So they're saying it's much less tempting. That could also be an opinion. And then it's necessary to fight the obesity crisis. Now, this section here could be fact or opinion. So sometimes depending on what you feel, that is how you're going to, some things can do that. Now we know that we need to fight the obesity crisis and it might help. So it could be, it's more of an opinion than a fact, but for them, they think that it's true. If we do this, it's going to stop it. So treats should be in plain packaging, health campaigners say, and the Institute for Food and Public Policy also calls for products to be taxed. Now, this section here is an opinion. This bit here. we'll just use a different colour. Let's change that. But then this bit here, public policy, this is a fact now. Public policy do have called for the products we tax, so that is a fact. And they want their adverts banned from daytime TV, again. And they want to be funding healthy cooking classes. So these little sections are fact here. So opponents say that plain packaging for tobacco items has failed to work with the minimal drop in cigarette sales. So again, this is another fact. So you've got a document that's full of opinions and facts. You've got one fact here, got another one here, and then you've got another one here. So let's put this into blue. So these blue bits are facts, and then the rest of it is opinions. So sometimes your text will be full of facts and opinions, and it's up to you to find out which one is which. So anything that can be backed up by data, like when it says the Institute for Food and Public Policy also calls products to be taxed, that's a fact because they're asking for it to be taxed. So how writers introduce fact and opinion. So we might recognize facts. So there's a certainty in statements. So this is a fact. GP referrals have increased by 11%. The verb that is used. So Mercury is. So if they've got is, that is 29 million miles from the sun, depending on what verbs they're using. So if they use Mercury may be 27 million miles away, that's them just having an opinion, they're guessing. Research and references are quoted, so they'll say according to Harvard Science, and before we had according to, and then they said a dietary place. And then events are listed from the past, so we know that to be true. So they might have talked about something that's happened in the past, like the minister resigned in 2019. And then how do we recognize opinion? So comments are preceded by I think or I believe. So it'll be like, I think student loans are a good idea, and I believe that this will lead them to a brighter future. There is uncertainty and speculation, so changing sweet sign might or may or should, those type of things will show that it's an opinion. If it says it is helping or it does help, that would have been a fact. And then verbs are modified, like where they do should or would or could. And they say things like they should change the law. So this might not always be the case, and it's not always clear, but there are other devices that you can use to influence the reader as well. So how to spot bias. Now bias is where you've got one thought and you think you're right in that, or the reader thinks they're right in that, and that's it. They're not willing to listen to anything else, and they think, right, my way or no way. So texts with bias are likely to have some of these features. It's a one-sided argument. They're not considering everything. It's emotive language, so it's quite emotional. There's no evidence, so lack of evidence. Exaggerated languages. So it says you need to do this, or you have to do this, or if you do this, it will be beneficial for the future and it will make your future generation survive, or something like that. They'll use a selective use of statistics, so they won't look at all of the data they've got. They'll just choose bits that support their argument. They'll only use quotations that support them. They might have sarcasm in it, and there might be negative or positive overtones. So in contrast, a balanced text will have views of lots of different sides from an argument. So if you've got an argument or a piece of writing that says, Asha thinks says this, that and the other, and then Placidia says this, but then in consideration, Lydia was saying this, is considered all of our opinions, and it's talked about all three of us all together. Now we've got to find the bias. So we're going to read the paragraph, and we're going to see where the bias is here. So recently, I almost wiped out a small, fast-moving group of cyclists after they had swept down Ormond Road and across my path to the exit towards the bridge. They suddenly appeared from behind tall plants. So that is all one-sided. So it's just, you know, it's only talking about this person who almost knocked over lots of cyclists is only talking about his own opinion or her own opinion. They're not talking about what actually might have happened. And apparently they suddenly appeared from tall plants. So the second bit is, why do we have expensive designer plantings which detract from the purpose of driving, cycling? Safety at a busy roundabout junction. Keep it low and keep it simple. So there's no evidence given in the facts. They don't know if it's expensive or designer. They're just making fact up. It looks fancy to them, so they're saying that. And then I also just suggest whoever designed these attractive flower beds be given a job of upgrading our pathetic rose garden. And now this section here we're going to talk about is an exaggeration. It is an embarrassment to show visitors to our city and is, without doubt, the most unattractive rose garden in the country. So it's exaggerating because they've decided, the writer has decided that it's an embarrassment. And the writer has also decided that it's unattractive. It's the most unattractive garden in the country. So it's biased. It's all about their opinion, what they think. It's not got any other sides to it. So let's see if the second video works. Hopefully we shouldn't have too much issues. Yeah, I think we're having the same issue with this one again. So please, if you get a moment, have a look at this video as well. Pause that. So we'll just go on to what these mean. So implicit or explicit meaning. So remember, implicit is something that is suggested, it's not clearly said. So it's something that you've got an idea is being done. Explicit means that it's stated very clearly, it's just said for a fact. So Heather runs like a duck, that's implicit. So you don't, physically she won't really run like a duck in real life, but you're meant to create an idea in your head that she doesn't run like other people, that she's got quite a funny run, or that she might waddle a little bit. So Heather ran in a 5K race, that's explicit, it's just giving you straight, clear facts. She did run in a 5K race. The temperature won't be above 6 degrees today, that's explicit. You might have checked the weather report and you know that it might be 5 degrees today. So you're not going to, it's not going to be above 6. You'll need a hat and coat today. That's implicit. So it's something that might say that, oh, okay, so if I say to you, you'll need a hat and a coat today, what sort of idea does that come into your head? What does it tell you about the weather? So whoever's either Lydia or Placidia, what do you think? If I say to you, you'll need a hat and coat today, what do you think I'm telling you about the weather?
This is implicit. This is.
Yeah, it's implicit, yes. But if I say to you, oh, Lydia, you're going to need a hat and coat today, and then you're going outside, yeah, so you'll think it's cold or it might be raining, yeah? And then the company was established in 1975, that's explicit. And then it's a traditional company with old-fashioned values, and that's implicit. It's not telling you what the values are, but you sort of understand that they might have certain values that are in reflection of the olden days. So in further meaning, so we're going to read this and I'm going to ask you some questions and I'd like you to answer those. So at a recent invitation-only lunch, Minister Emma Jones was hijacked by members of the West Coast group who made the opposition to the rail line very clear. The government may have changed, but the ministers are still listening to the men in suits and ignoring the public who are concerned about the safety, social and environmental consequences. So we're going to look at what it infers. What do you think invitation-only lunch means? The main word is invitation over here. So if I was to invite, say if I was to invite Nancy and Placidia and Anne to lunch and you turned up, they got an invitation from me, but you came as well, I'd be like, it's an invitation only lunch. So only the people who receive an invitation were meant to go there. Yeah? Then hijacked by members of the West Coast group. What do you think means hijacked? So if I had a lunch and I've invited a whole lot of people, but then somebody turns up who doesn't have an invitation, that would mean that they've come unannounced, they're not wanted there, they've hijacked it, they've just entered without permission. So that means they've hijacked it. They came in and they wanted to talk to the minister about some governmental policy issues. And now they're saying that this lady, she's a minister in the government, so Minister Emma, and this group of people came in and they want to talk about the rail lines or about the trains. And they're saying that even though the government has changed, the ministers haven't changed. They're still listening to the men in suits. So when we talk about men in suits, what do you think that could mean?
Politics.
Yeah, politics, rich people, people who have got lots of money. So they're not listening to normal people like you and me. They just want to listen to people that have got lots of money, who are influential, who have a lot more power than maybe we do. So see, even though it's a simple couple of sentences about a lady, a minister who's done and gave out invitations, even now I'm inferring all this, and I don't know this for a fact, but she sent out invitations, people have turned up to her lunch, who she's invited, and suddenly one group of people turned up, uninvited, they hijacked it, and they started talking about politics, and the minister doesn't want to listen to them. She's still listening to all the people who are rich and powerful, and she's ignoring the public. So that's what I infer from this paragraph. So we're going to do this here. So invitation lunch is exclusive event. So the West group were unwanted and anonymous businessmen, so rich people, yeah? So let's see if that's got, yeah. So we're going to look at this here. This is an extended paragraph now, so it's got a bit more information on here. So same thing, a little bit extra info. At a recent invitation-only launch, Minister Emma Jones was hijacked by members of the West Coast group who made their opposition to the rail line very clear. The government may have changed, but the ministers are still listening to the men in suits. So when they're saying men in suits, they're being sarcastic. So, and ignoring the public who are concerned about the safety, social, and environmental consequences. So WCG coordinator Liam Parry said, the day government and business stop scratching each other's backs, there will be pigs flying in the sky. So when they do the quotations that are in there from men in suits, and then when they do pigs will fly in the sky, they're being sarcastic on here. So you're recognizing hidden meaning, you're looking at the irony and sarcasm. So people are saying the opposite and they're not clearly meaning what you say. And then again, there's euphemisms. So if there's something like gas guzzler, if you're doing a text where you're talking about a car, but instead of saying car on it, you might write gas guzzler. So sometimes when there are speech marks above some words, that will show either sarcasm or it'll show a euphemism where someone is saying something different to what they really mean. So if you see this on here, these two sentences or these words. So quiz now. So Placidia, if you unmute yourself as well, please. I just want to ask both of you some questions. So, can you tell me what is a fact? Which one do you think it is? A, B, C, or D?
D.
B or D, did you say?
D for Delta.
Oh, yes, that's right. Something that can be proven to be true. Well done, that's right. Something that can be proven to be true. And what is an opinion? Feelings or views that can't be proved to be true, emotive language, views that can't be proved to be true, or evidence given in court. Remember, an opinion is something you feel yourself. You might not have facts about it.
C.
But an opinion is something that might not be able to be proven true because it's...
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I would go with A. So feelings or views,
yeah.
that can't be proved to be true.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's your feeling. You know, sometimes if you're feeling emotional or if you feel really strongly about something, you might say things or you might have an opinion about something. It's not necessarily fact-based.
Yeah.
You can't find information about it, but it's how you feel.
Yeah.
Like the guy said, this rose garden is an embarrassment. We can't have anybody come to our city. It's a disgrace. It's the worst rose garden. That's his opinion. I might think it's the most beautiful garden I've ever seen. Yeah, so opinions or views that can't be proven true because they're not based on facts. They're based on your own feelings. So at number 3, there's only another question after this. What is bias? Is it a balanced view? Impartiality, where you're thinking, yeah, she's right, or maybe she's right, or they could both be right? Or is it a way of thinking about facts and opinions, or is it a strongly held one-sided opinion? Remember, if it's a bias is when you don't want to listen to anybody else, you think you're the only person that knows everything.
Yeah, this is the D, isn't it?
Yes, well done. Yes, a strongly held one-sided opinion. So you're not going to listen to my opinion, you're not going to listen to anybody else's. You say, I am right. So the reader says, the writer who's writing the text says, I am right. I'm not going to talk about anything else. This is it. That's it. I'm done. And then the last question. So it's a strong inclination to one opinion and it's a refusal to consider other opinions. And then the last question, what is another term for using inference? So reading someone like a book, reaching a conclusion, reading between the lines, and putting 2 and 2 together. So remember, inference is when it doesn't tell you the information, but you sort of guess at what they're telling you.
Reading between the lines.
Well done, yes. Yep, so read between the lines. You're looking for, or you're trying to understand any hidden meaning, any extra information, or any implied messages. Like I said, you're going to need a sun cream today. And then you think, oh, why are you telling me it's nice and hot, so you need sun cream? So rather than me saying to you, it's very nice and hot, make sure you put your sun cream on, I'm just saying you're going to need sun cream. And then you'll understand, oh, so this is what she means. It's going to be nice hot weather today. So well done. We've done this inference and inferred and implicit meaning. So by today, you should hopefully be able to understand what facts are, understand what opinions are, and you should be able to understand what bias is. So when somebody has one opinion and they stick to it and they don't consider anybody else. You should be able to look at the difference between facts and opinions. So sometimes you're going to see a text, a piece of writing, and it's going to tell you this is, it'll give you some opinions and some facts. And we talked about some words that if it says that this is 110% correct, or this is 77% statistics show, and then you know that's a fact. But if it says this should, or this may, or this could, you know that's an opinion. And then you should be able to recognize bias in a text when somebody is just talking about their own opinion and not looking at others. So sometimes they'll only use quotations that support theirs. It might not give you the full information, and they won't consider anything besides what they're saying. And then hopefully you should be able to infer meaning in text. So look at what the hidden meaning is, and then recognize euphemisms and irony when they say like men in suits or pigs will fly if this ever happens. So they're being ironic in that aspect.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at the homework for here. Now this is a document just about facts and opinions, and it's reading a little bit. Now the reason I'm giving you all this reading homework is just to get you used to getting you comfortable with reading different texts and actually being confident when you're in your test, so that when you go in, you're going to be like, wow, I know exactly what I'm doing, and you'll be fine. So a bit of information: facts are records or things that can't be proved. That can be proved. And opinions are views and feelings that can't be proved too. So if you do, bacon is made with salt, that's a fact. Yeah, because if you look at the ingredients, I'm guessing that a bacon will have salt in it. But if somebody says the bacon is too salty, it might be someone's opinion. It's they're eating it, they're then seeing, oh, this is too salty for me. So you're going to answer the questions. You're going to look at this document here. It's just about an exercise group, aerobics, why it's important to get fit, and it gives you some information. So it's got facts and opinions in here. So the group has meetings every night at 7 p.m. That's a fact. So it's a great fat burning activity and improves stamina and muscle tone. So it might be a fact for one person, but for me, that's if you're not putting the right type of effort in, that's an opinion. Aerobics is a brilliant way to burn calories. That's an opinion. So in this, you've got facts and then 100% opinion here. Sweat to some of your favorite songs. So you might not, your favorite song might not come on. It's their opinion. They don't know if they're your favorite songs. Then you've got facts come along here. So they raise £750 for local charities. That's a fact, and so on. So it's filled with facts and opinions. So there's two sections. This is 1A. Let's see. And just please tell me, is it a fact or opinion? So write down fact or opinion, and from there. So read that text and answer these three questions. Then you got one more text here. And then you're going to tell me, are these facts or opinions? Now, some of these, depending on what you feel, might be a fact and it might be an opinion. It depends on how you feel about it, but especially in the second section. But have a read of those. And then you've got a third section. I'm giving you too much here. So you've got 3 documents and 3 sections where you're just going to talk about fact or opinion on these.
Okay.
So just the one activity sheet, and I'll email this to all of you. And if you can please get it to me by Monday, and then I'll mark it and give you we'll discuss it in the next lesson.
All right.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sticking by me, and I shall see you tomorrow writing lesson.
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.